All right, you've just gotten off the treadmill. You're kind of like, you know what, I've spent enough time here in the gym. I'm ready to go home. But before you go home, why don't you just work out your abs and your butt with me? You ready? We're gonna get started. We have 5 exercises in total. I'm gonna talk you through them for 1 minute, okay? It's called the warm-up, but we're already warm because you guys have already trained. If you haven't, it's also totally fine. Exercise number 1 is gonna be a single leg glute bridge. I'm just gonna move this dumbbell out of the way, but I do need it here. So for the single leg glute bridge, you're gonna drive down with one leg, the other hand holds onto the knee, the other hand holds onto the head, keeping the chin tucked in. I'm gonna drive my hips up and lower them back down. I wanna keep my tailbone tucked. Next exercise is a hollow body hold. We're gonna hold here for 30 seconds. Now there are a few variations. You can go legs straight, arms up. This is the hardest, or you can modify like so. Exercise number 3 is the side lying hip raise like this for the glute. Obviously we're gonna work both sides. Then we move into a reverse crunch like so, and that's what we need this here for because it's gonna help us a little bit. We have 5. Wait, buddy, stop. Okay, just go from here. We've got the side lying hip raise, and this is really gonna hurt. That's not a great way to say it. This is really gonna work. Not just the top part of your glute medius does actually get glute max as well, okay? Which is what creates the kind of like perky shape, the curve that way, right? As opposed to just being up and on the side. It's an important muscle, not just from a visual perspective, but also in terms of functionality as well. Okay, now here we're gonna come into a reverse crunch. Now what I'm really trying to do is make sure that as I pull up, I'm not just swinging my legs back and forward. Okay, and then the last exercise, we're gonna come into a butterfly crunch, butterfly with the legs, and then just crunching as high up as you can. Yes, we are ready. Let's go. 30 seconds in our single leg hip thrust, or actually single leg glute bridge. Driving down, my timer's gonna let me know. Okay, so you don't have to think about anything. What I do want you to do is, because we're switching sides in a second, I want you to count how many reps you do on one side. That's the same for our side lying hip raise. So I'm keeping that tailbone tucked, I'm driving up, we've got 5 seconds left. I'm gonna turn him down a little bit because it's a bit aggressive, huh? Like, we don't need that noise. We've got 5 seconds to change. All right, here we go. Driving up. Let's go, turn it down too much. Okay, so the reason I need you to check that rep is because obviously we're doing single leg work, which is a great way to train the glutes, but we wanna make sure that we're even on both sides. So whatever amount you get on the first leg, just try to match it on the second. We got 9 seconds left. Don't worry if you didn't count this set. They're working, the time under tension is the same. Good, 30 seconds on each side, beautiful. So now we're gonna come into our hollow body hold. Extending the legs for this variation, maybe bent knees for a slightly easier variation. Maybe you can take the arms up if that's too easy. And then remember, here is really difficult, okay? If you start to shake, reduce the load, reduce the intensity. I want no gap at the lower back, so we're not like this. And if you're finding it hurts your head, you can pull your chin in and use this to help with your head. All right, coming up onto our side, here we go. Side lying hip raise. Just count the sets, or the reps, sorry, that you're managing to get through. 19 seconds left. What we want to make sure of here is that we're driving down through the elbow, pushing the floor away, palm is down. And as I come up, I'm driving off my knee and my foot. 4, 3, 2, 1, beautiful. Swapping sides, we have 5 seconds to swap sides so that we can match those same reps that we did on the first side. Let's go, drive it up. Next exercise, we have our reverse crunch. Keep counting, keep pushing through. We have 3 sets in total. So by the end of this, you're possibly hating me. Hate's a strong word, but I do firmly believe that there will be feelings of strong dislike, disdain, if you will. Oh my gosh, I already have disdain. Why did I write this little sequence? Good, on your back. Let's go. Okay. You don't have to count your reps for this, but obviously if you do, the good thing about counting reps is that it just enables you to develop some consistency. Make sure that if you take your arms up like this, you can get your lats out of it. Good, here we go, butterfly crunch. I'll explain more in the next rep, next set. Really put your mind in the muscle here. What we want to try to focus on is obviously keeping the shoulders away from the ears. And the reason I like to have my hands reaching forward is that it helps me to maintain that. 2, 1, beautiful. Getting ready for our single leg hip thrust. Let's go. I want to make sure that my tailbone tucks, that I'm driving down through my entire foot here. If you start to get an arch in the back and you feel like your hamstrings are over contracting, I need you to hug that knee in a little bit more, even if it means you get much less range. 5 seconds to change sides. It is a good way to figure out how much mobility you truly have or how much flexibility you truly have at the front of the hip. Because what can happen is that when we go into a proper posterior pelvic tilt, we realize we don't have as much hip extension as we thought we did. Hip extension being when I get my hips up like this. Like I can arch my back, but if I have a posterior pelvic tilt, you can see it's harder to get as high. Beautiful, hollow body hold, let's go. Belly draws in, legs extend, reaching forward. Take whichever variation works for you. Just make sure that your stomach isn't blowing up like mine is now. I want to pull it down and also feel like I'm pulling in and up through my pelvic floor muscles. 10 seconds left. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Pull it down. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Coming up, side lying hip raise. Let's go. We're on set 2. One more set to go after this. So push through. Sometimes I find that on that second set, my energy lifts. My body starts to get used to the sequencing, the exercises. 10 seconds left on this side, and I start to not hate it so much. And then set 3, I'm like, why did I bother? 2, 1, beautiful. 5 seconds to change sides. Other side. Hey, my butt paused it. Okay, make sure you count the reps on this side because we probably did a couple of extra reps. That's okay, it's actually my weaker side, my left, because I have an injury, so it's probably not such a bad thing to do a couple of extra reps on this side that I can already feel it, hating this. I can feel those old injuries that have caused me to compensate. And so my strength is so bad on the left side. Reverse crunch, here we go. Now, arms straight shuts the lats down, which means I'm less likely to engage those muscles, and instead I can really focus on working my abs for this movement. Another thing is that it helps you to just encourage the neck to relax a little bit more. Here we go, butterfly. So if you're feeling too much in the neck, then come down, maybe use your hands on your head and just work through a crunch like this, rather than a full reach. But those of you that are like, I can feel my neck, it feels tense, remember we are working the neck. We have to. It's a very important part of this practice, is neck strengthening. Beautiful. Okay, let's go. Last set. So it's a bit of a pet hate of mine when we're always trying to accommodate for the neck being active, because I'm like, well, I don't know about you, but if I have a fall, if I have a car accident, if someone like hits me or pushes me, even if it's accidental, I mean, I hope it's accidental, I want to have a strong enough neck to be able to support it to contract, to activate when my head is being knocked about. Driving through the heel, the ball of the foot, and maintaining that posterior pelvic tilt is key here. Really try to push through these last few reps because it's your last set. Make that glute max work. The gluteus maximus. Drive. Like I said, it's what really creates shape in the glutes. It also is a highly functional muscle. Good, I mean they all are, aren't they? Reaching, hollow body hold. Hard to talk in this one, so I'm gonna try and be able to show you what good form is by not talking. Belly draws in, spine flat. 15 seconds to go. Legs are active. Chin is tucked in. Rather than coming out of it, I'm just gonna modify when I feel like my body's fatiguing. Beautiful, okay. Let's come up. I'm gonna switch to the left side first. I should have actually been doing that anyway, working this left side. I'm gonna slow down and not worry about so much speed and really try to make sure I'm hitting this left side properly because I can feel like I'm compensating in certain areas. So it's not really my glute working. I've got kind of like my TFL working instead. The front, not so much the glute. Beautiful. And it just comes down to that glute injury, that hip injury that I had. Let's go. That's an important thing to pay attention to in your own body. If you have old injuries, that's why I like doing single leg or unilateral work, because we can start to feel the strength discrepancies between the left and right side of the body. And, you know, a couple of reps here and there is not a huge problem. We're not symmetrical beings, but if there is a huge strength discrepancy between the left and the right side of your body, you want to start to question why and see if you can fix those, because they may lead to overuse on one side, which can lead to injury over time. Good. I'm just trying to not talk so much so I can perform these better so that you guys have something to watch in terms of correct form. When I'm not concentrating, it's very difficult. Of course, by all means, if you want to work on full butterfly sit-ups, you're welcome to. The reason I don't is because from about here, I'm not actually loading my abs anymore. So the real load on the abs is really just from here to here, here to here. Beautiful. Good, let's come down onto the floor. Come into a high push-up position. Core nice and tight. Good. Holding. Step that right foot forward. Drop the back knee to the floor. Right elbow comes down. Reach and twist. And get a nice stretch through the front of your left hip here. Opening up. We'll change sides. Drop the knee down. Sink. Elbow, and then twist. Beautiful, hand comes back down. Press back, drop the knees to the floor. Push the hips to the heels. Let the head come down. Take a deep breath in. Start to calm the nervous system after your workout. Take the hands forward, coming down. Opening up your abs. Nice little twist here so that you can feel the different sides. Pressing back, downward facing dog. Walk those feet all the way up to the hands, unroll. See, how was that? Way better than just doing our cardio. We managed to get our glutes and our abs done skis. I will see you in the gym, on the mat, at home, wherever it is, very soon, and I can't wait. For those of you that are ready to take your training to the next level, you need to check out my home workout program. Doing random workouts on YouTube, totally fine. I'm so down for you guys to be training and working out and moving your body and falling in love with physical activity in general and training in general. However, there are a few training principles that are necessary in order to start to see results. Things like progressive overload, specificity, just periodization in general. Stuff getting harder over time and there being some kind of structure to that progression is the difference between a good program and probably no program at all. I'd love for you guys to check it out. You can see a little preview here on the screen now. Much of what I do on my YouTube channel emulates what we do. Obviously on my YouTube channel, I can't facilitate the same level of programming, but in the actual program itself, you have way more information about how to do these workouts, how to schedule them, how to eat around them and nourish yourself around these workouts. Check it out. I know you're gonna love it. Like I said, I'll see you on the mat soon.